Hey y'all, how you doing? I just came out from a live. I know it took me a long time to do so. Ooh, that's my camera, because girls are not in the perfect order. Yeah, and I know I have to position it because I need a ring light. I really need a ring light. Like I need a ring light to make me look great, like all those other YouTubers. Because I'm on a desk. I got two lights on just so that way you can see me. That's a fucking shame. Sorry, that's an effing shame. So I did a live. I was talking about my favorite films, and and my cat interrupted me, so I had to cut the live short. Promoting myself off of TikTok for all my followers and stuff like that. So I hope that they can see me on TikTok. I hope they really like what they see. So also I had to heighten the camera and brighten and stuff. I don't got like I ain't got that kind of money. So I just had to MacGyver somehow. But best believe your girl's gonna make sure that things are gonna work out well. So I guarantee. I talked about. I talked about Christine Carey. Then I was on to talk. I talked about House of the Haunted Hill, the original Carrie, Christine, uh, both are Stephen King films that were turned from books. And I forgot what else I was gonna go to, but otherwise than that, I still got my notes. Yeah, still have. It's not like the you know what notes. It got my notes. Yeah, this nice little pink pad. Probably gonna get another one. Yeah, because it's very small, but I like it. So people like to call it the book of stuff. So I got that as well. I also gotta get my notes that I did online. So I did that too online. I got notes from that. I got IMDb. I got Wikipedia. Everything, highlighted notes and stuff, script, whatever you name it, I have it. I'm not the type of person, YouTuber, that I don't know what film it is. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what this is, whatever. These are the films that I decided to make sure that it was well scripted and stuff and everything was put together. I wanted to make sure that I had everything with me. I want to make sure that I did not have any empty spots that I gotta come back. Hey guys, guess what? You know that whole nope. I want to make sure that I have everything with me, so that way your girl will have you know she will have a good thing. So I had to make sure that the work is working well. Cause you know what I mean? Cause like people would do like, hey, NC-17 much stuff and that field did do that. You gotta do research. It's like no, let me just let your girl make sure that she got all her her numbers correctly, everything together. Everything that gotta make sure that it's the top dog, top giddy, top everything. You don't want to just slap everything together and then expect it to do well. That's just not me. I don't pull that game. So I have to make sure that I get everything together. And plus, I'm a newbie, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But I will tell you one thing. I will make sure that this film will be an absolutely together. So yeah, that's how you do it. So I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do me. I'm going to make sure. Then I'm thinking about doing a list of my top 5 favorite telenovela list. I gotta make sure I gotta brush up on my Spanish because I don't want to be looking. I don't want to trigger off anybody. So I want to make sure that when I speak certain languages, certain characters, I'm professional. I I am professional because you don't want to say something and the next thing that is not how you pronounce it. So I have to you know brush up some stuff. So you know gotta make sure that everything is okay because you don't want to make sure that it's something good. And the next thing you know it's not. So you gotta make sure that your stuff is well together. because you don't want to make it, and the next thing you know, it's not. So your girl, gotta take down some notes. She gotta make sure she read and everything, top dollar, whatever you name it, I have it. You have to make sure of it. So some of these horror films are related to the early '80s, late '90s, and then somewhat in the '70s. And I'm not saying that some horror films were not good in this era. I'm not saying that some horror films are not good in some eras. Some eras, had a hiccup period. And I know you say, what's a hiccup period? A hiccup period is when you know, how should I say this? It wasn't that well done until Bloomhouse and A24 and stuff came in. Then you start to, body horror, comedy horror, folk horror, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna be making a list of those, and I will be talking about films that I believe are really good. But right now, I'm going to kind of do recaptures of my films that I did. Also, I have a little surprise that I would like to talk about, but that's not due until I think after October. Yeah, I know. I know you say after October. After October. I'm sorry. Things are good. It's a little crazy right now. So, but I can't tell you everything. I wish I can, but I just gotta, wait. But it's really, 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 really exciting. But I can't tell you too much because I don't want to give it away because I don't want to jinx it. I know. Kind of why tell us is exciting, but at the same time, you don't want to tell us. Look, okay, friend, it's a long story. It's a very, very long story. It's super great. I can't wait to show it to you, but it's gonna have to take some time. It's gonna take a little time, but give you some time. So, okay, so but I promise you that when it comes, or whenever it coming, it's gonna be hype. So that's all I can say. Can't say too much. Somebody please sponsor me. But that's all I can say. So I have to check emails too. Sorry. So let's get on with the bowl. Let's go. Here's my little notebook. And my list that I was doing because I took down lists, type out stuff, highlight everything and stuff. So I got everything going for me, and so I'm ready. Okay. So my favorite film. I already went down a countdown of it, but I think this time, my friend gave me pointers of like just do it properly. So I gotta do it properly. So let me just do this. Okay, so my recap was House of Haunted Hill, Carrie, and Christine. I forgot another one I did. I think I did. No, actually, I did those two. Probably gonna have to watch it again. I have very short term memory, but that's besides the point. But those are the other ones that I remember. But now that I wrote these all babies down in this Pinky Pink book, took down all my notes on the computer. So you're probably gonna see me with my notes and shit like that. I don't care. I'm not like those professionals. I don't care. I ain't that professional. Sponsor me. It might be. But yeah. So let's get on with it. Oh yeah, and then I was also edited with saying that Howling Part One is not that good compared to Howling Two, and how personally, in my opinion, Howling 2 is a little bit better than Howling 1. Why? Because it got Christopher Lee in it. There you Sorry. Sorry. It got Christopher Lee in part 2. If you would have Christopher Lee in part 1 and 2, it would have been a little bit higher. But no, because it got Christopher Lee, and the plot makes it a little bit better. But that is nothing because unfortunately that did not make the whole list. But American Werewolf in London did. I don't know who. If you are a horror movie fan, like anybody else, you like horror films. If you ask somebody, what's the best werewolf film you ever had, like ever saw? I guarantee you, 3 out of 5 people will probably say American Werewolf in London. The other percentage will probably say The Howling. Some people actually consider cat people, but that doesn't count because they're about cats. Lions, matter of fact, but that's a different story. But yeah, American Werewolf in London is that is that girl. It is that film of the 80s. I'm sorry. You know, you can't sit there and watch it and not expect not to get a laugh at it. I mean, seriously, it is. I mean, I took down notes saying it is one of the most funniest goddamn horror films of all time. And it is. I mean, you took the whole narrative of werewolves and the monsters and the and stuff like that, and then you just kind of just say, "Hey, watch this," and just kind of chuck it out the window and just it's just a mad ball comedy. That's all it is. It's a mad ball comedy. It's just crazy, and plus, it was created by John Lennon. And if you know who he is, Google him, and you will probably see Animal House, best college film I've seen in a long time because it was funny. I don't care. You know, it's a good film. I will say that it's a very good film, and I think people should see that. But whatever. And oh yeah, my last video I did mention Chinese Ghost Story, so I did mention that too. So I remember it slowly but bits. But give me some second. But yeah, I mean, American Werewolf in London, bruh. I mean, that film is classic. Okay, that film is the type of film that you sit there and you say, I don't know what can top this. I mean, American Werewolf in London is officially one of the, if not best, comedy horror film I've seen. I mean, the element is crazy. They took the whole idea of werewolves and just smashed it on its head completely. I mean, you sit there, you say, whose idea was it to make it? Whose idea was to give this guy an idea to make a horror film about werewolves and American travel backpackers traveling across, you know, London, and the next day you know get attacked by a damn werewolf, and now this, you know, this poor guy, you know, he got bit and now he's a werewolf trying to figure out what the heck is going on. You're in London, you don't know what's going on. You know, you're having hallucinations of your dead friend who's bitten and completely is turned into into a freaking vampire. I mean, it was just that crazy. It was funny. And not only that, but you know, it also won the Academy Award for Best Special Effects. So, you know, I mean, hey, it got success. It you know, it was a horror film that won the first category for Best Makeup. So, I mean, if you really want to look at it, it kind of got something better. You know, I mean, it edges out, you know, Howling. Yeah, they were both came out. They were both hot when it came out, you know, but one won an Oscar. I'm sorry. I would say if your film is so good that it got won an Oscar, I'm sorry, you kind of just out. But I mean, not all films deserve Oscars. I'm gonna be frank with that. But that pretty much had it leg up above the. I mean, it was funny. It was crass. It was humorous. You kind of really feel sorry for the main character completely with his hallucinations. And you can take a joke. I mean, yeah, there are some gruesome, you know, kills in the damn film and stuff like that. But it takes it don't even take itself seriously. No, they don't. Like the best car chase at the end with the car crashes, it don't take itself that seriously. And it kind of just go, oh, look at that, it's scary. Watch this, watch this.
That's what it pretty much did. Like, it really just kind of like, nah, we're not gonna go there. We ain't that serious. You know, like almost like that. Why, meanwhile, the Howling is like all depth and stuff. And what can you believe? It's all your mind. John Lennon just sat there and just said, John Landis was a genius. He just sat there and said, watch this, and just went through the roof and just blew that money, and it was Wells Wood. And I don't even know why they consider it a cult classic. That should just be a classic, period. Like, that should be just, like, respected off the grid. But, you know, back then people kind of looked at horror films like the bottom of the totem pole. But all in all, American Werewolf in London is just a class act. It's a class on its own. It's my favorite, along with Howling 2, because of Christopher Lee and because the plot was a little bit better and banging music. But all in all, those two gonna have to share the spot. But if I have to pick out one, if you two tell me, okay, which one you gonna really pick, if there was the best werewolf film in your category, American Werewolf in London gonna have to take that pick. It's sitting right next to Ginger Snap. That's how good it is. Now, their sequel, American Werewolf in Paris. No. That, okay. Everybody was like, okay. But at least they mentioned part one of what happened to the last dude. At least they mentioned and gave a tip of the hat to the original. Why they mentioned, oh yeah, the last guy that got bitten by a werewolf. You know, at least they mentioned it. At least they mentioned some characters. At least they kept some like nod to Landon's. But no, no, that's not a good idea. You know, I mean, like that's not a good idea. No, you know that kind of thing. Like you sit there, you're like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Like you just want to sit there like, no, that's not a good idea. I don't think that's well. But all in all, American Werewolf in London is the best horror film for werewolves, and Howling 2 is a cool horror film for werewolves. Period. That's all I gotta say. That's all. Now this next horror film that I love, which I wrote down as a question mark because I don't give it in because a lot of people question it. And the film I'm talking about is Ichi the Killer by Takashi Miike. Some say it's a splatter, others say it's a thriller, some say it's a crime gore fest. And every horror movie fan sat there, made their directed a vote, approval, thought, think quickly, and had an election, and had all came to the conclusion that Ichi the Killer is a horror film. Takeshi Miike, that was a horror film. A lot of people say it's a comedy. To some degree, it is a comedy because it's a dark comedy. Some parts of there, you sit there like, should I laugh at this? Like they had some moments where you can go like that kind of moment. You can't do that until the end, and then you're like, okay, now this is just downright crazy. Like that kind of moment. Takeshi Miike, he got another film that's on this list, but Takeshi Miike, I think he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing when he sat there, looked at that script, or looked at that manga, came up with the script, and said, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And I bet when he was directing that film, I knew in the back of his head, he probably sat there and said, yeah, this is it. Like, that's pretty much what it is. And just released it to Japan and to the world. And literally, everybody in Japan was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? What? In America, they're like, nah, we need to ban this. Push that away. Japan just outright almost banned that crap. Like, nah. No, we're not gonna sit here and see this, bro. We already dealt with the ring. No. No. That's okay. That kind of thing. In America, they just looked at Japan like, so this is what your horror was like? With splatter? Okay, yeah, like for real, like the manga was crazy. My friend, she picked up a manga, but the manga's crazy. The movie's crazy. The actors that they have played, the actor that played as Ichi, that man played him very well. They always said, like my mom always said something really crazy. She said, just because someone cry when that doesn't mean that they're always sad. Sometimes when they cry, they're angry and ready to fight. Ichi in this film cried, and head towards the hills. Oh my God, head towards the hills because there's trouble afoot. That's what it was. That those tears and those cries. Nah, balled up fists ready to fight. That's what it was. Everybody head on deck. That's pretty much what it was. Everybody head to the hills. Because this man is crazy. That's the only thing that people thought about is like this man crazy. I love Ichi the Killer. I got the DVD. And when I got the DVD special because when you buy it, it also showed Ichi Zero, which is a prequel to Ichi. So I saw both of them and I sat there. I said, that man did it. That man did it. He did it. It's fabulous. It's a fabulous film. It's a horror film. Every day freaking horror fan can sit there and debate and will fight saying, yeah, it's a horror film. The body count, the horror, the sheer horror, that you don't know what the heck is happening. It's a mystery, it's a thriller, it's a horror. Because of the body count. You know what I mean? I mean, like the first beginning of the film, the body count is ridiculous. Like for real. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And you know what? We love ridiculous things. We love it. We love ridiculous things because every time something is so bizarre, so crazy, it's fabulous. It is fabulous. And I just sat there and just like, give me more. Give me more. you know, come on now. Give us more. Right now. Sakachi. I'm gonna spell his name. Sakichi Sato. He was also in Kill Bill as Charlie Brown. He was the man that got off in Charlie Brown, I think. But that's a different subject myself. But I had to Google his name because I just had to. I had to Google his name. Like he was crazy in that. He written and he was also in the film as well. So it was just crazy, and he written this, and it was based off a freaking manga series of the same name. So if the manga was any crazier, and all I can say is this. All I'm gonna say is this. This film is crazy. But at the same time, he's kind of a hero. He's kind of a hero because he got rid of Yakuzumas. So you kind of sit there and say, well, can we get mad at him? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, dude, you a sadist. you a sadist. And, you can't get any worse than that. I mean, it's so great. It's a fabulous film. It's a freaking fabulous film. And the actor who played as the sociopath, he ain't bad looking either. Kakira, you should see the guy without the makeup on his face. Gorgeous. Not Ichi. Ichi, the actor plays Ichi. Give him his flowers. Give him his flowers. Just give him all the flowers in the world. Because he played that sociopath perfectly. For real. He played him perfectly. I mean, for real. He is pretty much almost like the One Punch Man of Japanese horror films. He just gonna cut everybody. And he ain't gonna care. He gonna cry with snot. Meanwhile, he got rid of a freaking bodies and just floating all over the place. That was a good film. I don't care. It's a horror film. Best horror film ever. Takeshi Miike, he did it with that one. So another film that he did, which it is my new favorite, My mom watched it with me. My best friend watched it with me. It's The Happiness of the Kakeris. As a matter of fact, let me spell it out for you because I'm practicing my Japanese because I went to Japan, but I'm going back there soon, so I have to practice my Japanese. But it's a remake of the South Korean horror film called The Quiet Family. Google it; it's fabulous. It's a good movie. Google it, but also Google Takashi Miike's remake of it. It is a mystery horror musical. Let me repeat that again for those who don't get it. A mystery horror musical. I kid you not. It's a musical. and and it's gold. Okay, I got the DVD when I saw it like 2 years ago in my class, and Cacticus. Cacticus. Cookies. I got protected that, but that's what it's called. I took down notes, but it's a remake, loosely based off of The Quiet Family, which was a South Korean film that came out I think a couple of years ago before this film did. And I saw The Quiet Family, another good Japanese horror, another 1998 good black comedy. It is just completely freaking funny as hell. Like you just gonna love it. It's just so crazy. It's just it's just funny. It's just so funny. It's funny. It's funny. It's a good film. I mean, if I have to say two remakes that are great, Katakuri. Okay, but it, The Quiet Family is really good, but the remake, the loosely based remake, is just so freaking funny for real. I mean, it's a story about this family that has a inn. You know, your daughter is a love struck woman who will fall in love drop of a hat with their daughter, who's a narrator through the whole thing. Your father, who used to be a salesman, met his wife doing the same job. You know, you have this grandfather who mostly is just the grumpiest grandfather there ever is, and you have their son who's a criminal. So, you know, reformed criminal. So you have all this is happening, and these poor guests, these poor guests, they come in there and they die in the most strangest and the most confusing ways possible. Like I think one died of a heart attack while he was making out with his mistress. And he's a sumo wrestler and he crushed her. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, this poor lady. This poor lady. And the worst part about it is that you have, you know, this lady, this family that's trying to keep everything together. They're trying to keep. I sat there watching that film, and yes, the horror level is there. Everything is there, and it's just crazy. And the family in that whole movie, you just have to say, bless their little hearts. And like every time some of them die, they gotta bury them on the lot of their it until somebody else come in. And it always them die in the most strangest way yet. And they gotta figure out how we're gonna keep this business afloat without losing everything. Like that's it. And then like they break out in song. Sorry. Sorry. You just gotta Google. I got this through Arrow videos. Remember? And I brought it along with a couple of the Japanese films I brought. And I sat there. I remember seeing it in my classroom when I was at UMass Boston. Whoop, whoop, and I was taking Japanese cinema class. And our teacher put this film on. And literally half of the class was like, should we laugh at this? Until the musical number of this lady dancing with dead bodies, and we just all bust out laughing. Like that stuff was just crazy. Like it would literally sit there. You said this is some crazy for real. Like it was just funny, and it was like right after that, after I graduated, I brought that DVD. I brought that DVD along with some other films and DVD, but I brought that DVD. And my mom's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "You gotta sit and watch this with me because this is some funny crap." And my mom sat there and she's like, "Out of everything else you showed me, like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen." And it was, because it's just, Takeshi Mikey outdid himself when he made this. He outdid himself when he directed this. He really did. He sat there and said, "You know what? All y'all complain about the last couple of films. I bet you ain't gonna complain about this one." That's for sure. And he made it. And all we can say is, thank you, sir. Because that stuff was funny. It was funny. And I can say that with a straight face. This man's crazy. It was funny and it was crazy. So, that film and Ichi the Kill is one of his best works. That and Gozo. Another film that mostly some of my films come up now is Japanese horror. So, another one is called Audition. Audition used to be my favorite film until, spoiler alert, when you watch it again, they killed the dog at the end. So that deducted a point. I don't like it when animals get killed. Oh yes, in the last film I talked about, there is a cute dog that follows the family. Cute little dog. Anytime something happens, the dog is always sitting on the side or is sitting with the family. It's such a cute little dog, and you're like, "Oh, this precious dog." And the little girl is the narrator of the whole film. So you it's so funny because it's like you have this little girl and her dog explain that technically my whole family is trying to hide dead bodies in the lot, but I love them. You're like, "Oh, bless the child. What is CPS?" Like that kind of stuff right there. I mean, the mama is the divorce because the daddy left her for a teenager. Every You gotta watch the film. You gotta watch, not Audition, but you gotta watch that film for real. Cause that film was just crazy. It's insane. It's insane. I see The Quiet Family, and I'm like, now I can see how they took some of these elements and made it to a musical. This is freaking crazy. Like this, you can't take this with a straight face and say, yes, this is a horror. Okay, but where are the musical numbers are coming from? We don't know. Like at the moment, like you just want to sit there like, we don't know, but it's funny. Like that's all there is to it. Good job. But I will go put Audition, but I got the DVD. It's pretty good, but you killed the dog, and I love animals. I don't like animals getting killed in horror films. That sucks. It is, but when you do, it's kind of like I'm gonna put you in the back burner. So Audition is pretty good. It's classic. You can't take that one. That was another classic. That was another banger, but you know, is what it is. But we're gonna move on. Another film of my favorites. This one scared the daylights out of me a lot, but it's so good. It's a good film. It scared the daylights out of me, and I don't get scared that quickly. But it is a very good film, and a lot of people are saying it's a very good film. And it's called Perfect Blue. It is a psychological horror. It messes with the mind. It kind of gives you Alfred Hitchcock if he decided to do an anime film. Everybody said that it kind of gives you like a Japanese interpretation of Vertigo. It's just a good film. Story about this pop singer who decided to shed her image and go into acting, and she had this good girl image that she had with the pop group, and she played more mature, more serious roles. And slowly but surely, she started to lose her mind because there's somebody mimicking, pretending to be her. saying all these stuff, and then slowly but surely the people that producing the soap that she's on are dropping like flies. So it's up. It's pretty much her fighting against herself. Rather, if this is real, am I really doing this? What's going on? It fights with you all the way to the very end. And at the very end, you're like, wow, that's a roller coaster. Like that. That is a roller coaster of a ride. Like it is scary. It does have horror elements. It does give you that old school Alfred Hitchcock Italian horror film realness, but meets with a Japanese element of surprise. It is a. I got the DVD. I'm scared to watch it, but I got, I got the DVD. Cause that stuff it lingers in your head because it kind of make you think like, now we have social media, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's like it could be anybody. Anybody could be hacked. Or anybody could be this. And then next thing you know, it's like, did I really do that? Like you're being watched. Like you don't know who watching, who do this, what's gonna be caught on camera, what's not gonna be caught on camera. It's just a wild mess, and I love it. But it scared the daylights out of me so badly. So I have to give that one credit because credit due. So, but that's a film. That's a film. And the fact that Japan decided to try to do a remake of it, it's like, no, don't. This is one of the films where you're like, nah, don't. It's good. You're good. Okay. It's classic. Don't have to mess with it. We're good. You're very good. So that's on here. That's on here. That's another banger hit. Another banger hit that I have witnessed, which was from South Korea. Yeah, South Korea. And I talked about it about my last video, matter of fact. And I said it was the story of two sisters. That film is insane. That film is brilliant. That film is magnificent. And that film is scary because you sit there and you can say, this is it's art. It's art. A Tale of Two Sisters is art. It's an artistic film. It is the best. It's really is. I mean, it's really is the best. And it's a psychological horror drama, and I can see it, and it's really really best done. And it's just it's just something like you sit there. It's brilliant. It's a freaking brilliant film. It's, I mean, like you can't describe the film. It's just like it's 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 fabulous. I mean, and not only that, but my favorite actress Kim Capasul. He plays in this, but I mean, Ima Sojun. She is my favorite actor. She is my favorite actor. She is so good. You have to see all her work. It's like I'm a cyborg, but that's okay. That was my favorite. And, it's come rain and come shine. Another good film. Another one. I even highlighted half of her damn catalog. I highlighted half of her catalog. It's just that freaking good. I don't care what anybody say. It's a good film. It's wonderful. And her co-star, another family actress. I think she was in she was also in Cinderella's sister. I think that might be it. Unless I confuse her with somebody else. But it she had some bigger hits when it came out around that time. No, I'm sorry. The girl who did Cinderella's sister, she did another film called The Evil Twin, which is another personal favorite of mine. Which, I love that one too. I mean, for real. But this movie that she was in, this was a banger. This was a banger, and the film that I just mentioned, a minute ago, banger hits, banger hits. This film, freaking banger hits. I mean, it was just scary, shocking, sad, and you just sit there, you're like, wow, that's harsh. That kind of thing. An Evil Sister, that is just another great film that everybody should probably see, which is another South Korean film. that, South Korean horror film that was a banger. That's on my list as well. Banger hit, banger hits, banger hits. I mean, that was just the best one I see. I mean, I vouch for those two. So there we go. So, but now my next favorite film, we're going right back to the U.S. and we're going to talk about Scream. Now, you could probably talk about which Scream we're talking about. Are we going to talk about the reboot Scream, or are we going to talk about this Scream? Get your pick. Me, I was a 90s baby. So Scream 1996 is my thing. Kids nowadays got the new one with the 2016, I think. You got that Scream. So y'all, we're good. It could be between them one. But to me, I'm talking about the 1996. I'm talking about, as I like to call it, Wes Craven's comeback. That's pretty much what it was. Wes Craven pulled that kind of Beyonce of like, y'all forgot I was here, so let me just drop this banger right here. You're welcome. That's pretty much what it was. It was kind of dusty. It was kind of dry during the 90s because some of the films were straight to DVD, some straight to VHS TV shows. Those kind of things. And, there's Wes Craven was kind of going through, I want to do this, I want to do that. He did Vampire in Brooklyn, which was my favorite comedy. But it just didn't really have that bite. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I was good for. And he just released this freaking teaser with the old thing. And then he just released this slasher. And it was just, I mean, for real. When he released Scream, that was the moment when we said, oh, the slasher genre's back. That's pretty much it was. The slashers are back. The one by one pluck up, good old fashioned masked murderer, teens, whatever. He brought that back. He probably sat there and said, hey, I know you guys forgot about me, and that's fine, but here's a reminder that I'm still here. I still know how to do it. That kind of thing. And that was the film that we all sat there and said, this was his comeback. This was his reintroduction to the newer generation that didn't even know who he was. This was like you kids don't know who I was. I ain't gonna mess with you, but guess what? You know what? I'm just gonna throw this at you, and then let's see how you do it. Like, that's how it was. Like, this was Wes Craven's finest moment in my book. It was scary. It was funny. And it pretty much was just poking fun at himself, pretty much because of being the horror genre that you did, slashers and stuff like that. And, you just kind of sat there. It was like, yeah, okay, whatever, cool, whatever, and he just came out and was like, hey, I'm back. Y'all forgot about me? But, like, that's pretty much what it was, and he took a little bit of a break. And, he took it a little easy. And he came back. God bless his soul. He gave us a banger. And then after that, he kind of had a renaissance, back in action, stuff like that, And it was just like him coming back. I mean, he even did part 4. And we all sat there and was like, oh, he did part 4? Oh, okay then. All right. Okay. This is nice. All right. Okay. Like he sat there. God bless his soul. But part 1 was his comeback. But like when he did part 4 as like his final swan song, he sat there and mostly said, yeah, this is it. Like that's pretty much what he did. Like he just sat there and was like, nah, this is it. This is my swan song. So pretty much like when he made that, it was like any horror film that was supposed to come out by that time, everybody was like, no shit, I'm gonna see that film. And the fact that it was his very last film that he did, I mean, yeah, you probably talk about, Scream TV series, but this isn't that bad. I mean, it was okay. I mean, TV series, okay. It kind of take the pulse. And each issue, each season, we're following a new character. It was like, okay, it's alright, but it's not as good. It's not, but it's alright. Okay. Like, it's not okay. Sure, I'll give you credit. But part one, 1996, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, Drew Barrymore, you know, David Arquette, those were the big names in the 90s, and you came up with that banger, bruh. And especially, Wes Craven pulled the whole, Alfred Hitchcock scream mode, Alfred Hitchcock psycho mode. Because, Drew Barrymore was huge in the 90s, she was huge, she made big, she did a couple of good films, and we were like, oh, this is her comeback, okay, we were all excited, we thought she was going to be the main character, and then, and we were all like, yo, bro, what did you just do, bro? Like, you just off Drew Barrymore character like that? What the? We were all shocked. But, Wes Craven was like, nah, bro. I'm going to pull right wedding on you. She ain't going to make it. No, I got this new girl right here. That pretty much what the whole thing was. But that film was self-aware of the rules of horror films that everybody, including me, follow. Number one, don't say I'll be right back. You ain't gonna be right back. That's a no. Number two, if you trip when you run, it's a guarantee you go hit the dirt. That's all I'm gonna say. Number three, if you punch out your V card, it's a wrap for you, dear. Fighter girls are usually those who are pure, saved, didn't give up her V card. The girl who give up their V card to sleep with a jock, 6 feet in the grave. That's pretty much what it all is. And matter of fact, they always say, expect the unexpected. If you think that killer is dead, double check. Because guarantee you gonna get one good shock at the end. And that's pretty much it. Those were the rules. Those are the card rules. If you Google the rules of freaking horror films, you will see it. It's the 12 commandment rules. And, I'm so mad Jamie Kennedy's character died in part 2. Spoiler alert. Like, he was the only person. Rule number 1. There is no sex in a horror film. No way, no drugs, no drinking, because you are bound to die. That man, everybody is a suspect. That's a line that should be etched into everybody. Everybody is a suspect. Now, I think they even put that in the poster for part 5. Everybody's a suspect. His character Randy was that boy, and the fact that he got offed up in part 2, that was just disrespectful. That was just highly disrespectful. But I guess somebody said kind of representation of like, remember those cardinal rules? The rules mean nothing now. The game is different. That's pretty much what it is. And to this day, the game has changed, but some values are still the same. The game has changed. You can be a virgin and still bite the dust. You cannot be a virgin and you might live. Like, that kind of, like, Cabin in the Woods kind of just said, yeah, that rule wasn't working here. This is the real reason. Like, that rule ain't working. Sorry. Like, that's the whole thing. But Scream was that movie that came out. Scream erased everything else that was supposed to come out at that time. Scream was still popping even when they freaking in 1997. Scream was still talked about. Any horror film that was supposed to come out after Scream, it was dead in the water because everybody was talking about Scream. Scream was the talk about town, okay? Scary Movie was supposed to be the original title for Scream, and Scream pretty much was like, nah, you Wayne Brother could have this thing. It was Scary Movie, and Wes Craven was like, nah, we're gonna call this Scream. You can have that. Pretty much, I mean, come on now. I mean, Scream was the chick. It was the it. Okay, it was that the franchise was good from the 90s till now. That's all there is to it. Even though part 3, I'm gonna shut up. I think part 3 was more action thriller than it was horror. But that's the bet. But he redeemed himself in part 4. So I'm just gonna come up. Part 4 was the shit. Okay, this was his comeback. Okay. But this, I mean, that was his swan song. Part 4 was his swan song. You sat there and you like, yeah. That's trademark right there. The new rule. You can't beat the original. No matter how hard you try. You can't top the original. And the new director that did part 5 pretty much was like, oh yeah. Really? You don't think I could top it? watch this. You know, that's all it, you know, that's all it was. But Scream was the movie. It was the movie to talk all movie. It brought back the slasher genre from eternal sleep. And it just came back. It came back in a big way. For real. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Best film ever. Another best film ever that I love. And I think this is probably cheating, but if it is, I'm sorry. But I don't care. uh The Evil Dead Trial. No, not Evil Dead Trial. Evil Dead Trial was alright, but what I'm talking about is the Evil Dead trilogy. I guess we could call it the Evil Dead series because they're coming up with part 4, so allegedly Evil Dead Rise. I think they're Evil Dead Risen. I heard that it was supposed to, but whatever. But Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell. Them two, irreplaceable. For real. That is just one of those films you sit there, you say, you can't top that. And even their sequels, you can't top. When Evil Dead 1 first came out, we're like, that can never top that. Who's gonna top that? Sam Raimi sat there and said, I can, and released part 2. Oh my god, this is crazy. There ain't no way they're gonna top that. I mean, part 1 was great, but part 2 ain't no way they're gonna top that. And Sam Raimi in the early 90s came out and said, I got one more for you. Another one. And freaking with DJ Khaled. Another one. Another one. And just released, you know, Army of Darkness. Now, is he going to direct the 4th Evil Dead film? I ain't going to be surprised if he would. I'm not gonna, I mean, I already saw Doctor Strange and the madness of the multiverse. And I sat there, I said, oh, you motherfuckers think that he was just going to sit down and be quiet. You know, I saw that. He sat there like, hey, listen, Marvel just gave you a taste of what I can do. And this is just me being mild. Like, that's just all. I'm just being mild with this. I'm just giving you oop. Because I don't want to go too far because, you know, this is kiddie stuff. But I'm going to give you a floop right there. Just for good measure. Like, that's pretty much what he did. That's pretty much what he did. He pretty much just kind of gave us a boom. That's pretty... like he didn't care. He sat there and did it. And so when, you know, those films came out, like, people were like, oh my god. I can't believe they did that. Like, they really did that. Like, oh my god. I can't believe he did. Like, come on now. Come on now. Like everybody's like, oh my god, it was so gruesome. Like, freaking horror movie fans like me are like, come on now. You should see his other fucking work. Like that. Like, for real. I mean, Evil Dead series itself is a wild ride to the very end. Now, back talk about the director. Let's talk about this man right here. I got his book like right close. I got it right close with me because that man, all hail the chin for real. Mr. freaking Bruce Campbell. Batman as Ashley J. Williams. Ash has went through so much. This actor, read his book. I got this book. I got 2 of his other books. He's supposed to write another book out. Please favor me. I mean, for real. I mean, like, this book is just... It's funny as hell. I'm supposed to get another one because it's supposed to be adding more to it if Chins could kill. Because that was his first bio, and then he just decided to do another one, and then another one. And then he did, like, another book with just his poetry and stuff like that. It's freaking amazing. If they ever did a biofilm, he should direct it. if they ever did a biofilm about Bruce Campbell, he should direct it. But Bruce Campbell as Ashley J. Williams. That poor man. That poor character. He only went to just the cabin to have a joyful time with his sister, his girlfriend, his best friend, and his girlfriend, and it just came out as a freaking bloody mess. He lost his friends, he lost his mind, he lost his head, like the dude, and then he went back in time. And then, if you make matters worse, he came back to time, disappeared for a while, and then if you see Ash versus the Evil Dead on Stars, well, that show should have never been canceled. This man's living out of a trailer, and he's just so confused and don't even know what to do. And then they decided to push him back into it again. So I heard they're supposed to bring his character back for the fourth and final film, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, y'all better make sure you take this man out in style. Like him finally having like some rest, like or make him hardcore like they did Laurie Strode in the Halloween series. Cause Laurie Strode went through some shit, and this time she said, "I'm ready for you, motherfucker. I am ready to fight you, Michael. Y'all better make sure you do that with Ash, cause Ash is like, I have went through too much. I have lost my job and my wife, my girlfriend, my hand. I've lost everything." And now you're trying to get at me again? Bring it. I don't care. Like they should literally have him like, I ain't got nothing to lose, so I might as well just fight you to the bitter end. But Ash Williams is that I think we can finally consider calling Ash Williams the final guy. Because if you really look at it, he is the final guy. You know, because you usually have like the final girl, came out alive, you know, stuff like that. We can give Ash the final guy treatment. He can be called the Scream King because that man has gone through so much damage, so much screaming and everything like that it is literally impossible to look over him. Like he is literally the definition of if it was a Scream King. Like we have Scream Queens, he should be because that motherfucker. Come on now. Like Bruce Campbell went through a lot on set for part 1 and 2. 3, that's ridiculous. Like he went through some stuff. Like I read the book, like, you know, behind the scenes of Evil Dead. I have that book somewhere over there. And you read all the money and stuff and everything, you're like, God damn, do they have insurance? Like you literally want to sit there like, do they got insurance on this back? Like, God! Like for real. The whole film is crazy. The gore is crazy. And I love it. The plot, pretty simple, but scary as hell. But like you sit there and you like, wow, this is crazy. This MF is crazy. I even got the box set. I got the box set of the Evil Dead trilogy. I got 2 DVDs, Evil Dead and Evil Dead, the special bootleg edition. That's what I got. My friends said they also got, you know, Army of Darkness, you know, stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I got regular Blu-ray of Army of Darkness, box set of the Evil Dead series, which I had to fix some of them because some of them could not work on DVD because half of them came from London. So that was a problem. Excuse me. I got Army of Darkness, the bootleg special, which is they showed you parts that didn't make it into the film because they had to cut some parts out and they reiterate it back into the original film just so you can see the whole plot. It makes some sense. And I got Ash vs. the Evil Dead Season 1. So I haven't got Season 2 yet, but Season 1 is pretty much funny because it pretty much shoots the same vein of like what happened after Army of Darkness. So pretty much it's just really funny. And you sit there and you can just see like this is like the man can't get no rest. You know, you got to carry around with this book. The dead is risen again. You got a witch. You got these people that possess. You know, you got to go with all those kind of stuff. And now they're saying that there's Evil Dead Risen. And then, not to be outdone, but then another one of my favorite horror films was a reboot. A reimagined of Evil Dead. Shot in the same vein as part 1 with a bigger budget. I love. That's what I call it. I said it's the original Evil Dead, but with a bigger budget. Because, you know, the first Evil Dead, that was shot like for like $100 or something like that. Like very Nicholson times, pretty much.
This one is like we shot it at a higher budget and better crime equipment. Yeah, pretty much. But they even sequel that even he might come back in that one, or he might come back in Evil Dead Risen. But the Ash, Bruce Campbell mostly saying that Ash Williams should probably have a good retirement. Like it's probably time to hang it up. He mentioned that, and it's like, how are you gonna say goodbye to a character that crazy? How are you gonna say goodbye to a character that says groovy? How are you gonna say goodbye to a character like that? How are you gonna say goodbye to a character that just how? I mean that it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for a lot of fans of how they're gonna say goodbye to. But Evil Dead series is the best series of all time. It's the best series. I know I cheated, so too bad. Sorry, but it's my list. So whatever. So there you have it. But last but certainly not least, this is one of my personal favorite horror films. This is my personal favorite. It is the best film ever made. It's a classic. You can't top it. You can't fight it. You could challenge anybody about it, but you just can't really get anybody to disagree with you. And I mentioned that I think in my last video that I did on YouTube. And the film I'm talking about completely is another grand classic, which is House of Wax, the 1956 one, with the one, the only, never duplicated, Vincent Price, in Technicolor 3D. That's all I can say. Vincent Price. There. Another one of my great classic horror films. I know. I thought I was like, this is just Vincent Price. So I ideally need to explain. It's Vincent Price. Okay. It's House of Wax starring Vincent Price. That's all you need to know. It's a story about an artist who got caught on fire in his wax museum by his cheap partner who backstabbed him. A couple years later, people are dying left and right, and bodies in the morgues are disappearing, and now a new wax shop, a wax museum, has been opened with very realistic statues, almost too realistic. And so it's Vincent Price at his finest. This and House of Wax is Vincent Price. I mean, this film and House on Haunted Hill is Vincent Price classics. This was his finest moment. This was the moment when you sat there and said, "This is why they call him the king of freaking macabre." Right here, right there. I could put Pit and the Pendulum in this, but that film was pretty cool. But it was not as good as those two. Like those two films, you sit there, you say, "Yeah, this is classic." These are the one films that these are the only two films I knew that got remade so badly that people just booed. Like, for real. Like, if you're a fan of Vincent Price and when they did a remake of freaking House of Wax, you were pissed off. As much as I was. Like, I sat there, I'm like, who approve of this? So it's teens really half of them look like they should be in college. Like, that kind of thing. It was just madness. It was madness. So, a lot of people are like, why is it so bad? It stinks. I don't like it. I don't care. I mean, your film is iconic. When young people in the early thousands Googled House of Wax and realized there are two of them, and they clicked the one on Vincent Price and they automatically said there, that's a really cool movie. That's not bad. What if Philip Vincent Price did it? Like, what is that's not bad. That's not bad anyway. And just start watching his work. Case closed completely. All the remake did was just, it was just a remake of Tourist Trap. I mentioned that in my last video. If they change House of Wax, just remove that title and put in Tourist Trap, it would be a very good remake of Tourist Trap. It would have been a better remake of Tourist Trap because
Tourist Trap is pretty much similar from the 80s one because the story about the whole town. Mysteriously, people are made of wax, and there's no living people there. It's a tourist site. If they would have kept that kind of idea, changed the name from House of Wax to Tourist Trap, people will probably be like, okay, so maybe it's a darker remake of it. Pretty much like, okay, all right, I'll take this out. This is pretty cool. But you called it House of Wax, and there's nothing wax about the house. I mean, come on. I'm sorry, I went off again, but the original with Vincent Price is gold. It's freaking gold. It is a freaking chef kiss. Okay, it's freaking chef. It's just you have to sit there and say, "This is gold. This is Vincent Price's finest work besides just House on Haunted Hill. This was gold. This right here was beautiful. That's what it was. Like you sat there and said, "This is a work of art for real. This is a work of art." Like this was Vincent Price at his finest. This is a Vincent Price at his best of being the best person to play a villain. He was the best there. That spoiler alert. That was the best portrayal of sociopath revenge. Like for real. I mean, if there was ever a biofilm, they better mention that because for real, I mean, that is the film to end all films. Like that was the great, like that was his best work. Really, that was his best work. Another film that I like, I'm not done with it because I realize the more I talk about it, maybe there's a couple of other films, so I probably had to get made, but it's our film, these stuff, so I don't care. I like to talk. I got another film, video that I want to make for 30 seconds, so I have to hurry up on this one. But another film has to be the 90s version of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Gary Coleman, Renee Zellweger, Winona Ryder, Anthony Perkins, and and sadly, Keanu Reeves. I should laugh. He did well. We should laugh at him like that. But it's getting re-released in theaters, I think, in October. Since that's the new thing now. Re-release films that were released before, just put it in the office again. See how it works. Classic. And Brian De Palma. It was a classic freaking film. Like you sat there, you just sat there and say, you know what? I'm too done. I'm too done. 1992, Bram Stoker, Francis Ford Coppola. If you don't know who he is, I don't know where you've been sleeping. Francis Coppola, dude. Chef Kiss. He did this film. He was brilliant. Even though we're all kind of questioned about Godfather Part 3, but that's a different question. But this film is gold. Okay, I had to Google his name because I didn't want to say Brad De Palma, even though he did some films. But yeah, that was a goose for me. Even thinking that I wrote that down on the computer. Gary Coleman as Dracula. They could have cast a better actor to play as Dracula. Gary Oldman as Count Dracula was the shit. I don't care what anybody said. He made you believe that he was Dracula. He made you have pity upon him and also fear him. That's the whole thing. Gary Oldman, they couldn't find any other actor to play him. I'm sorry. And this is before Twilight. For those who don't know, okay, Twilight almost killed the whole vampire era. If it wasn't for fucking nowadays, sorry, I'm going whole full rant. I'm sorry about that. Sorry. But I mean, that film was gold. Renee Ryder, Gary Oldman. You believed in that relationship completely. Better love story, like better couple than anything. Even though you have Keanu Reeves as Jonathan, almost got fucking eaten. This freaking vampire that locked me in the goddamn tower trying to steal my girl. Like, what are you doing? Who are you, man? Who are you? Like that kind of thing. But that film is gold. That film is gold. I'm trying to put away my Bruce Carroll book. Also, these are the other two books that he got. That I got. I got these two. You can tell who's a fan. So, if I have to, sit there, sorry. But this is the only time I'm ever going to get sponsored. This is sad. This is so sad. I'm sorry. Yeah, my friend, she's like, oh my god, yeah. So that's what happened. So I got my friend on here on Instagram. Follow her on Instagram. She's so cool. She just met Sherry Duvall in Dallas. So she's hyped. I'm so jealous. Anyway, I'm sorry. What was that about? Oh yeah, Dracula. But that film was just it was like an oil painting in motion. The cinematography, colorations. I always love colors in films. Like especially if it depends on how the director uses it. It just looks so like you can feel it. It just have this like you could smell dread coming during certain characters, and you can smell some light, like you could smell it through the screen. I know that sounds wrong, but it's just so good. It's just so pretty. It's pretty. It's disgusting in some parts. It's romantic. It's exotic. That's what the film did for me. It just gave me my senses different kind. It's just such a good film. Such a good film to the point where I'm trying to find it on Amazon. I'm trying to find it in this video films on Amazon for real, even though some, but that film is just gold. Another great film about Dracula. I could say Bela Lugosi, but that's pretty much easy. But I'm talking about The Bride of Dracula from Hammer Pictures. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing. Dracula versus Van Helsing. Them two, done. Done. You can never find a better goddamn Van Helsing ever if you could try. Yes, Anthony Perkins Van Helsing was really cool. But Peter Cushing's Van Helsing, you believe that man was freaking Van Helsing, okay? Christopher Lee, ain't no freaking way. Ain't no freaking way. Ain't no, between Bela Lugosi and them, you think of vampires? Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee's the first thing that go to your head. Those are the only two actors that I see as Dracula. I don't care. Christopher Lee was in freaking last film to Lord of the Rings, and all I say is, "Oh my God, that's Dracula." That's the only thing. That's the only thing it is too. Okay, that is the legend. Those two characters were embodied very well because of them two actors. They pretty much embodied very well. It is you believe them both. Okay, Christopher Lee made you scared of Dracula. Okay, there's no dread like Dracula's what? No, he made you fear him when he comes on screen. He was trouble when he came on screen. When he was Dracula and he came on screen, it was trouble. You freak out whoever he tried to get. It was trouble. When you see Van Helsing on the screen, you know something's about to go down. Because he's always the one that gotta fight him somehow. Somehow he gotta fight him. So I got work. I mean, they even fought each other for so long. They even fought since 1972. We ain't gonna go far, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. But Hamburgs are trying to figure out something then. But but Peter Cushing as Van Helsing. Oh, come on. All these other actors I don't even. But if you put Peter Cushing, I mean, that's Van Helsing. That's our hero. That's the man that knows exactly how to handle this problem. That's the man that's gonna freaking go hand to hand combat if he could. That's him. Okay, Christopher Lee. When you see him on screen, you freak out completely. Like he made you lock all your doors and put garlic on the windows. That's pretty much how it all is. I mean, for real. That was the S in House of Horrors of Dracula. I mean, hey, Hammer Films, they did their thing. Okay, they did their thing. And I gotta give them credit. I gotta give them credit where credit is due. That film, that that film, Christopher Lee and freaking Peter Cushing. In the U.S., they did have to. I know a lot of people say, but is this Dracula? I know. If you Google it, I know. But because of America, because Dracula got confused with Bela Lugosi, they have to change it to Horrors of Dracula. So that's why I call it Horror of Dracula. But them two, that whole film, classic, classic. Those are the only three Dracula films that I can sit there and say this is gold. Bela Lugosi as freaking Dracula, Children of the Night. What sweet music they play. Like niggas look bad. Okay, that's cool. That's the only thing. I mean, those are the only three Draculas. Okay, and Gary Oldman, he played Dracula with pity, fear, deception, and pity. That's the only thing. I mean, if you watch the whole film, you can understand why, especially in the beginning. But he make you feel sad for him though, and that's very rare for actor that can make a character that's as sinister as Dracula. If you can manage to make that character a very sympathetic, sad character to the point where now you can see why he did what he did, you did your crap. You did your thing. Give them all the roses. Give them all the flowers. Make sure there's no garlic in them. Give them all the flowers. And then BBC tried to remake it in the early thousands. So you sit there. Well, no, with Jonathan Harris. Yeah. He used to say about that played as King Henry and the Tudors. They did that with Dracula. I don't mind marrying him. That's all I'm gonna say. Google it. Google it. I would have married. I would have mind. I think NBC did that. And since like during the Steam era, and the actor who played as King Henry and the Tudors played as Dracula. I would have mind marrying. Not one problem. Put a ring on it. Completely. I would mind. Not that other dude that played as Dracula. Hell no, I'm not. BBC tried to do a remake of the television show in the early thousands of Dracula. Ain't no damn way, bro. You ugly. Okay, I'm like, no. That's okay. I can't wait to see what Marvel, who gonna cast as Dracula in Marvel. Because I think Dracula's in Marvel, a couple of times we went head to head with Deadpool. So I can't wait to see who they're gonna cast in. But, those are the only ones bad. But yeah. Dracula. Completely amazing. Great film. So those are my three Dracula films that I think was pretty good. And that's it. So, oh wait, there is one more film. There is one more film before I go off. It's like what, an hour. So there is one more film. This one film I introduced me to Japanese horror films, and this little Japanese horror film is pretty cool because I was experimenting with films, and I was just checking around, surfing the web. Kind of got boring, whatever sort of things, and this film just came, and it really was something that was completely crazy when it came out for me. I was just like, what is this? And the film I called, which was, hold on, I took down notes for those who say, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, I know, but I don't want to be like those YouTubers that are like, I forgot the name of the film. I can't believe it. I forgot the name of it. Oh my god. I'll Google it and I will take a look at it later, okay? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, and that's not the type of film that I like to do. I don't like doing that. But the name of the film that introduced me to horror films was called Sweet Home, and that is now on Amazon. So I really am glad. But Sweet Home introduced me to Japanese horror films of the 80s. That was a film that made me sat there and say, "What is this?" That and House. House is getting re-released on DVD by Criterion Cinema, which are great, but it's also getting re-released by Arrow Videos. So please sponsor me. But yeah, so I think Arrow Videos and the Cretaceous Collection, they also did that one. And I just sat there and I just said, these two films really introduced me to horror films in the most strangest way possible. And not only that, but a lot of people said it was based off of a video game. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And a lot of people said that it kind of ripped off from House, and a lot of people were kind of like, well, it was based off of House, or Sweet Home was based off of House. I needed, you know, it was just weird. It was just it was weird. It was just it was just it was a good film. It was a good thing. It was just it was such a good goddamn film. It was such a good damn film. It was really good film for real. Like I loved it. It was pretty cool. But like I'm sorry, I'm just watching the video clips. I just watching the clips of it and I'm like, oh my god, House is like Sweet Home. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that I look at everything correctly. It was I just want to make sure that everything was said correctly. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so the film itself is just insane. It's insane. You just have to sit there and believe it. But those films inspired me to look into Japanese horror films the way that Japanese horror films should be looked at. I mean, I sat there and I was like, this film is just crazy, completely. So sitting there watching it is just it's crazy, but it's wonderful. It's a wonderful, crazy mess of a film that's just experimental comedy horror, and it's just the creation, secret creator channel, which I'll spell out the name. It is Criterion Created Film. So I just I got a couple of the movies from them. I also got Tampopo, which is another one, but this film is just brilliant. You have to see this film to believe it. It's just that good. So, with that being said, these are my collections of films that I really think that are my favorite horror films. From my little book, from my notes, from the web. Hey, your girl's learning, okay? Give me a break. I'll probably be more professional. I don't have an editing team. But this film is just... it's just fabulous. It's a fabulous, fabulous film. You will just have to love it. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. If you have not been subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Okay? Hit those bells and stuff down there because I need followers. So with that being said, thank you so much. This is your Popper, and I'm signing out. Bye.